And we're live from Stockholm, Sweden with another round report from the Rilton Cup. But first things first. Congratulations Norway and Magnus Carlsen for a terrific performance in the Rapid World Championship. Very well done. And then back to business. So I was asked to promote Rilton more and not so much the Wasabis. So I'm gonna tell you that you can still register for the Rilton 1800 and you can do it on the website, on Rilton's website. There is a link below this stream. And of course, if you don't feel like playing a longer tournament, there's also the Blitz tournament on the 3rd of January. It's played 8:30 in the evening, I believe. I wonder how that's gonna work with my live report, with my run report, if I decide to play. Oh well. Today we're first gonna have a little look at the standings after the second round of Rilton, and it's actually looking quite good for Sweden. We have 3 players with 2 points, 100%. And it's Tiger Hillar Persson, Erik Blomqvist, and Kaan Pushkusksaari. And I was thinking that I wanted to make a little bit shorter stream than I did yesterday, which I thought was quite long. But we're gonna take a small look at each of their games. And then we're also gonna have a little look at the Urkedals game. Because that ending was quite nice. So let's see. Let's bring out the game. Yes, as you can see, I'm now returned to chess.com and their analysis tool. Yesterday I tried chess24. That didn't work very well because every time I tried to draw an arrow like this, it instead showed something else. That was pretty unnice. So let's see. We're starting out with Tiger Hillar Persson. He has black against Erik Santarius from US, if I remember correctly. And let's see. We're not gonna go too deep into this game. There were some things that I did not understand with White's play in this game. So it's a Queen's Gambit accepted more or less now. And I just thought that White became very passive here. Like, already here, or in this position, it feels like Black has made a lot of useful moves and managed to develop most of his pieces. While White is still having some issues with the connection between the rook and especially this bishop on c1. So already here I like Tiger's position. Let's just see how it continued. So bishop c2, a5, threatening to put perhaps the bishop on this long diagonal. Bishop d3, preventing, and taking on d4. And now there's an isolated pawn here on d4, which is very well controlled by the knight and the bishop and this pawn controlling this square. But what does White get in these positions? So White gets some control over these 2 squares with this pawn. But apparently, yeah, like this. It's hard to put any piece here. Perhaps this knight should go here. But let's see what Tiger does. So he puts the rook, aiming for this pawn on the d file. Knight f1, bishop f4, bishop e3. That bishop looks a bit strange here. Perhaps it was better than trading. Let's see. Queen d6, knight d1, and now you're forcing the trade, I guess, because you don't want to go back to h6, because bishop takes and then you destroy your kingside pawns. So takes, and pawn takes makes some sense to defend this pawn, getting rid of the isolated pawn. But you're starting to see notice some weaknesses here. Like, why is this bishop here and not here? But at least the bishop is still on the board. Otherwise, it would have been a catastrophe if this bishop would have remained and this one was gone. But let's see. I thought Tiger's play was very natural. He took the chance to invade here on c3 when b3 came. I'm not exactly sure if this was necessary now. I feel like it was provoked, but let's see. h6, e4, knight bishop b5, queen c7, and this is quite an unusual position that the rook has sort of seems like it has somehow teleported in within these pawns. But if you just got to the game, which I did, I actually didn't see it from the start. I just came in to this position, and then I saw White's move here that made it very complicated. Yeah, bit complicated. So Black has a very strong bishop, an activated rook, and a knight that sort of looks like it doesn't have any squares, but it actually has this square. It's protected by the rook. But I don't think you want to play this now, because if you play it here, I guess there can be some tactics here, which is quite interesting. Takes. This looks like at least a very messy variation. Where should the queen go? Should it go here? We have a good follow-up for this. Why I put it here is because it protects this pawn. Otherwise, I saw some variations where you could perhaps take here, then take here. But Tiger found a very simple way to just convert this. So knight takes e5, protecting the pawn on f7. And then after takes on g5, and which was just much better than taking here directly, where I guess you just white takes back the knight. Takes, and now came queen f2, aiming for this pawn, but Tiger found this very strong defense, displaying how powerful this bishop is, in combination with this rook. So if you leave the black squares here, I think you're just more or less done. Let's say something like this, because you need to put your rook in the way, and this pin is awful. It's very hard to walk with anywhere with the king, because you don't want to go here, and you definitely don't want to be standing on the diagonal of this bishop. So an alternative is perhaps giving up the queen, but there's very strong passed pawn here, and it's very fast, and you can't block it. If you take it, then there's check, threatening the king and the rook, which is just game over. So actually, Erik chose to resign in this position. Thought it was a very well played game by Tiger. I didn't like White's position at all from out of the opening. Now let's take Erik Blomqvist's game. I need to this up. Paste. Yes. So he was playing against, if I remember, Indian woman grandmaster Sumia Swaminathan. And let's see, it was starting to look like a Roy Lopez of some kind. Not my home turf. But let's try to get to a position where, yes, now we're in the position I thought was very interesting with e5. So White really has an initiative here. This rook is aiming for the queen, so you can't take back the pawn or take the pawn. And there is also some threats going on here on f7. And let's see. So yes, queen f5, walking out of this annoying pin. Bishop b3. There was a opposite pin now because both the knight and the queen could take this bishop if you, for example, look here. And then taking on if, and here I think they showed in the live stream, in the commentary by Anna Kramling and the legend Ulf Andersson. I think they showed a variation like this that went bishop takes f7, king takes. If queen takes, then the bishop on d7 is hanging. King takes. Queen takes d7. Queen takes d7. Knight takes e5, which was very nice if the king now moves. So you have on a pawn as white. So that looked very nice, but there was there was this move, I think, e4. So you didn't have to actually take the queen here, which was kind of nice. So I think now black at least managed to keep the pawn. But it was a that variation with knight takes e5 was very nice. So rook e1 and e4, knight takes knight h4, threatening the queen. Queen g4, h3, trying to get this queen off the diagonal that is defending the bishop. But yeah, you don't have anything that protects this knight, so it's an exchange of pieces here. Let's see, the pawn on c7 is hanging, so c6, making it a little bit weaker on this on the 7th rank, which is a bit annoying when the bishop is aiming on that pawn. Let's see what's happened. So g6, queen f6, and now the pawn isn't protected. Pawn was protected before. Rook d8, queen g4, knight g6, and rook a7, aiming for this pawn, exactly as I indicated before. Now there was a move that I didn't like by Sumia. Rook f8 seemed very passive. I think I would have like taken the rook. And takes. And then knight e5. Which I think is a better variation than which is similar to what happened to the game. Some people now might ask what happens on f4, but then you have this square for the knight, and this f4 move weakens the king a lot. So now if white takes to wants to grab this pawn, I think there's actually this move, queen g6, threatening this pawn, and this rook is invading. Very hard to defend this one. And I think black is winning. So, but let's see, rook f8, rook e3, defending the pawn, was attacked. Knight e5, attacking the queen. The queen e2, very nice, putting up a battery on the e file, forcing this knight to respond. Knight c4, bishop takes, and now in comparison to the other variation I showed, white has no issues with his king here, and it's just a pawn up. And then Erik, I think, played very well. So I am not sure if you should be able to hold this objectively, probably with two rooks, but now when these rooks are so strong and so active, now I think it's really hard, because these pawns are pretty weak. Let's see what happened. Rook takes, check, and this looks like a very strong maneuver, just pushing this double pawn, trying to exchange it, and then getting an exchange of rooks. And now it is 2 pawns up. Yeah, and Erik just converted this without any issues. And there you have it. Now, let's see. We are also then moving on to Khan's game. We're not gonna go through all of it. Just gonna see what he did. So, when I skimmed through the game, I saw that there was a pawn sacrifice in this position. So, what's going on in this position? So, white seems to have a pretty decent bishop here, and also have a strong threat on e5. Oh, maybe that is the whole point. You cannot find a square for this bishop. Didn't realize that before. So in this position here, it's hard to actually find, because it's not only that there's a threat of a fork, it's the threat that this bishop doesn't have any squares. It's trapped. So even if you move the knight, this bishop can't go anywhere. Interesting double threat on the same square. So that's probably why black had to sacrifice this pawn. But did you have to do it in this order? If you don't play this move, why can't you play e5 now? Is it something going on this file? Could be. I don't like black's position here, really. This is very hard to solve, I believe. So let's see. Yeah, sacrificing a pawn, and then with this pawn up, I think Khan managed to play very well and hold on to the pawn and convert it over time. That's what it felt like. So yeah, got into this end game, managed to exchange the queens and then exchange the pawns, and just having like this end game with the rook beside the pawn, on the side of the pawn instead of in front of the pawn, is usually much better, even though you have winning chances even with the rook in front of the pawn. If you could choose, you actually want the rook behind the pawn in these positions. That's the easiest way to win, because then usually the black rook has to be in front of the pawn, and then the black rook gets restricted, and then you can just move your king up the board without any opposition or any threat of losing any of these kingside pawns. So yeah, but let's see just how it ended. We moved up the kingside pawns, and then he managed to get his king up. And here, yes, so he's gonna promote this pawn. So here you could see like what happened when you have the rook on the side of the pawn. It becomes easier. You have these extra resources that you wouldn't have if the rook was in front of it. Very nice. Well done. And then for our last, just wanted to show the end of Liordis Vera Quesada against the Nordic champion through the Urkedal. Let's see. Bring up. Yes. So let's fast forward and go to the main position or the end. So here, black has some threats here. Mainly, I believe it's knight g4. Attacking the queen and this pawn, and if the pawn takes, white drops the queen, which is undefended. So I think in face of this threat, white played king g1, defending the queen. But Urkedal was not intimidated by this, and instead played knight g4. So what's the idea here? The idea is that if white takes this one, there is this, what is called, unlinking move that if the king takes, then you still drop your queen. And there's also an interesting or very beautiful mate here. So knight d3 mate, because yeah, the queen is pinned by the queen. So that would have been very nice, but we already resigned in this position. But yeah, there was multiple ideas I thought with that was going on here. Were very nice. Let's see. Now I want to just see if the pairings are out. Maybe we can see what the Swedish fans have to look forward to tomorrow. Let's see. There we have the test results. Do we have new pairings? Oh, we do have pairings. Wonderful. So who do we have? So Blomqvist is playing against Norwegian FIDE master Mads Vestby Ellingsen. And Tiger is playing against Dean Ippolito. And Khan is playing against a strong international master from Netherlands, Casper Kroppen. Yeah, much to look forward to. And also, oh, I see here that on board 7 we have a Rilton favorite, Martin Lokander, playing against the highest rated player in the tournament, Dmitry Kolos. Will be very nice to have a look at that game. Martin is usually very strong in the openings. Maybe he can find some weakness in Dimitri's openings. But as black, it's always hard. And on the top boards, we have Danish Ibo Jesper Sondergaard. Urkedal is on board 2. And we have a lot of Nordic players here. Like all countries seem to be represented by Denmark, Norway, Finland, and Sweden. I don't think we have anyone from the Faroe Islands. That would be something. Yes. All right. Thank you very much for today, and tune in tomorrow for the live commentary at 3 o'clock. But it will be Anna Kramling and Ulf Andersson again. They seem to be crowd favorites. And yeah, see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching.